Hello viewers, how are you? So let's discuss about some other concepts related with management. Is Alton Mayer's principle of bureaucracy and Chester Bernard principle of leadership and Mary Parker Forer principle of social justice. Okay. I've already discussed about the Henry Ford and Fordism. So let's discuss about the Alton Mayo principle of the bureaucracy. And Alton Mayo, a young man in Australia after the First World War, Mayo had developed to develop some therapeutic treatment for patients with shell shock and other nervous conditions. And for this kind of the treatment, it was a small step to the treatment of the industrial problems. So he has certain kind of the background to dealing with those kind of the people. So most people, we basically seen that how that people are act in that kind of a turbulent condition and how can you basically deal with those kind of the individual. So then he moved at Harvard and Mayo become associated what is known as the Hawthorne studies. And these studies have become a classic of modern management and were named because they were carried out in the Hawthorne plant of the Western Electric Organization in Chicago. The data has been collected and Mayo joined the project in April 1928 and in the different range of the experiment which concern the physical determinants of the productivity like illumination and other physical variables were manipulated and with surprising result that the productivity keep rising even when unexpected when the illumination was lowered rather than increased. Why was this so? They have conducted that experiment, the relationship of the light with the productivity of the workers. And when the light was lowered, the productivity still increased. What was the reason? And Mayo answered the question which was termed as the Hawthorne effect. And these studies have become a classical of management. Um, these group realize that when the Hawthorne effect is, when group realizes that it is valued and forms social relation among its members, the productivity rises as a result of the group formation. And the Hawthorne effect is what happens when the informal organization formation occur, and for this finding for which the study became famous. So it was presumed that the effect was an unanticipated consequences of the experimental workers in the study. So this become the so that means the people require social relation at the work. Mayo's 8 principles of the management were as follows. Work should be seen as a group rather than individual activity. Work is a central life interest for most people. And the lack of attention to the human relationship was a major flaw in most other management theory. In work, people find a sense of belonging to a social group and seek need for recognition, satisfaction, of which is vital for their productivity. And when workers complain, it be manifestation of some more fundamentally and psychologically located issues. Informal social groups at work have a profound influence on the workers' well-being, and the manager can foster collaboration between the informal groups to create greater cohesion and unity at work with positive organizational benefit. And the workplace should be viewed as a social system made up of the interdependent parts. The Mayo believed that the people had to be shown how to collaborate in the complex organization, and the management task is to manager will be have a kind of they need to play a role of the conciliators and arbitrators of an accord with the rational workers based on the rationality of the science. These are some things which have been discussed by the Hawthorne in the Hawthorne studies. Then the Chester Bernard principles of leadership. And Chester Bernard, the key issue was the leadership. Actually, Chester Bernard has seen that during the depression in the 1920, millions of the people were unemployed, and that reduced their welfare. So, अगर if managers were such a great leader, how come American firms were in such a mess? So, what were the principles of management that could not provide prosperity? Chester Bernard focused on the issue of the leadership, and he had a considerable experience in that regard. He was the president of New Jersey Bell Telephone and the Rockefeller Foundation, and Bernard thought that those lucky enough still to have job should buckle down to the leadership of manager schooled in the principle of leadership. So that means that manager need to focus on development of the leadership skills. And Bernard wrote a book on the leadership that had a major impact, The Functions of Executive in 1946. And leadership is required. And Bernard 5 principles of the management are as follows. And leadership required for both managerial authority and then employee obedience. Individual behavior is always variable and can easily be predicted. All individuals will have a zone of indifference within which the orders will be perceived in neutral terms without any questioning of authority. The manager should extend to see the borders of this zone through material incentive, but more specifically through providing others with status, prestige, and personal power. Third principle was communication, especially in informal organization, are absolutely central to the decision making. Everyone should know what the channel of the communication are and should have access to the formal channels. Lines of communication should be short and direct as possible. And the management responsibility is to harness informal groupings and get them working for the organization, not against it. And authority only exists insofar as the people are willing to accept it. From this kind of experience, Bernard saw that the manager's key task is ensuring that the organization system motivate employees toward organization growth. Because when individuals are working with certain kind of the common values rather than common order, they would work much more effectively, he thought. And the real role of the manager, he wrote, is to manage the values of the organization, which should be set by the chief executive. Okay, so Mary Parker, not all the management thinkers were men. There is a woman who also contributed toward the management theories, and he had written a book on the management called Dynamic Administration in 1941. And he argued that the organization is much like a communities, and they like to be approached as a local social system involving a net group of the people, and social justice is important for the productivity. Then he also suggested that Taylor ideas were incomplete, and in particular they had not been through for their democratic potential. So Follett was concerned to democratize the power and distinguishing between the power with, which we call the coactive power, and the power over, which is basically like a form of the coercive power. That is central to the Follett worldview, that the concept of the power, and she was concerned to basically that use of the power need to be aligned with democratic values. So that basically distinguishing between the coercive power and the coactive power. And she saw the power as a legitimate and inevitable, but it need not to be authoritarian. Organization can be developed democratically as places where people learn to be cooperative in power with others, especially managers and workers. And so that is basically a kind of a authoritarian homogeneity with a democratic diversity, which she also proposed 3 principles of the management, which are as follows. And functions are specific task areas within organization where should be allocated the appropriate degree of authority and responsibility necessary for the task accomplishment. And second, responsibility is expressed in terms of an empirical duty, and people should manage their responsibility on the basis of evidence and should integrate this effectively with the function of the others. And third, authority flows from an entitlement to exercise power, which is based on legitimate authority. So she separated the power from the hierarchy, shunning the idea that some were born to rule and others to follow. And so that's a kind of a different kind of the model towards understanding these ideas. And so what is basically, and then there are certain kind of the, after that there are certain kind of the novel ideas that come up regarding the management of the organization. And this is basically way the Mary Parker, these are some basic tenets of the theories which have been proposed by the Mary Parker. Okay. Then there is a concept of the hybrid organization. The hybrid organization is Weber model of bureaucracy was an ideal type. And so there is it's a kind of a uh, artificially actuated model that extracted feature of actually existing bureaucracy to make a pure model that condenses a feature one would find in reality. That means in reality, the ideal kind of the bureaucracy, to achieve the ideal kind of the bureaucracy is very difficult. It's a kind of an idealized form of the organization. But bureaucracy might take a form of a hybrid organization that blending some elements of the general model which has been discussed in the bureaucracy and integrating and innovating some other elements. And for example, under communism, state socialist organization in the USSR grew into a massive industrial bureaucracies with a shadow bureaucracy of the political control. And in the China, communism and the bureaucracy hybridized in a different and distinct way. So this is kind of the certain kind of the hybrid form of the organization which are using certain principle of the bureaucracy, or they are using their certain other ideology of communism and socialist organization. So that's it for today. In the next slide, in the next video, I'm going to discuss about the critical perspective on principles of time. Okay.